because I just don't want to even talk about B.A.D right now.
I know, right?
It's
Checked out.
yeah, and maybe that's what we can talk about too, is allowing yourself to have some kind of time. So me and you had talked last Friday when we were going to launch. Yeah, I spoke to my therapist about it, and that was just a coincidence that it happened that day. And then me and you started talking about, there's still a ton of stuff to tidy up, and I'm glad we didn't launch on Friday because I keep finding more and more that would have initially put us in a bad spot if we did. But it's been 5 years since we came up with the idea for the best action is distraction, and I've worked so long doing carpentry and stuff that you need help. This episode is brought to you by Construction Coffee Co. Go to constructioncoffeeco.com, a company that knows exactly what kind of fuel you need when the day starts too early and ends too late. They're not just slapping a label on cheap beans. This stuff is roasted with real grit, made for people who move, build, and stay busy. You've got blends like Crack of Dawn to kickstart the day, Sparky's Nightmare for the ones who live in chaos, and King of the Castle for anyone who runs the site or just thinks they do. And it's not just coffee. They've got gear too. Mugs, tees, stickers, hats. Tough enough for the job site, clean enough to wear on your day off. More blends are on the way, and they're just getting started. So if you want to support a crew that actually gives a damn about what they're making, check out constructioncoffeeco.com. Construction Coffee Co. Clock in, drink up, shut up.
Cass & Co. Upscale Thrift is redefining resale. Think timeless fashion, luxury brands, and curated pieces. All at prices that let you stay stylish without the splurge. Whether you're hunting for vintage classics or this season's designer staples, we'll make high-end accessible. Dress like you own the runway for a fraction of the price.
Where was I? Oh, so yeah, so it's been so long since I've done anything other than carpentry that I have to like kind of make my switch. We're ending that big job.
Mm-hmm.
And allowing myself to kind of transfer over from running these businesses or running the construction business, doing something that like I'm not that happy in. And I know a lot of people know me as everybody will still call me and ask me for remodel advice, ask me for hey, can you get over here and help me out with this job and whatever. And I don't say that I'm good at a lot of things, and I'm pretty decent at being a trim carpenter. I'm pretty decent at running like how everything should go and be eye pleasing and stuff like that. And I still get calls from everybody about, like my identity with them is a carpenter as being my trade. And I don't want that. I've never wanted that. My dad tried to keep me out of doing carpentry for 25 years, 22 years. I wanted to make the switch between carpentry just being a side business and these businesses being my main focus. My main focus is helping people. My main focus is, working on these companies and trying to get them to grow enough to do what we want to do. And so I didn't think, I always thought like I would just work and work and work and I wouldn't need any time off to launch everything. And it's a super scary thing to even be a part of, to kind of step away from making good money and living comfortably to diving into this unknown. And I'm excited to do it, but we're going to take the trip up north and take 4 or 5 days, relax, spend time with family, and I'm going to journal 50% of the time. I'm going to be writing stuff down, and every morning, every night, just trying to switch my brain from doing something that I'm good at, but I wouldn't say loathe. It does not bring me joy to this, which, I've had the gut feeling now that I never thought was going to come, that this is all going to work out and we're going to be able to help people and we're going to be able to do great things.
You said that you thought you were going to be able to do this and launch these businesses while still working. But you did end up having to jump into this full time for a little while to be able to get it to, completion. So what was that process like? Like the time and effort to get it rolling over the last few weeks?
Yeah, over the last few weeks, you know, it's funny because the last few weeks I've been pushing more towards, like, my goal is to start to get back to the fun stuff. There's so much that goes into this, bank accounts and taxes and fucking backdoors of the websites and like all of this, monotonous shit that you have to figure out.
Building the website.
That was terrible. Yeah, that whole experience. I mean, I like it, and eventually we'll change things around. But
Hmm.
yeah, it wasn't a fun experience for me. And for anybody who likes building websites, like, good for you. I'll call you next time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's stressful. I guess no, sorry. It's not stressful if I didn't come into it with a game plan. I didn't have things laid out, and I think that shows another way of like how routines are good. Like, you still need to be able to keep the routine that you're doing and adding more. Instead, I started to backtrack on all my routines, and um I started to backtrack on all of those routines and push harder elsewhere. So I started robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of deal, and it's taken its toll. But that's why I want to take the time up north, to journal and get my head right. I think, even though it's not like I'm going to the woods alone writing anything. I get to have time with my family that I don't normally get to have. It's our yearly vacation up there anyways, and we always have a good time, and it kind of separates me from all of the stress and work and shit that stays here at home. I don't answer my phone when I'm up there for that particular reason. And I just want to be able to kind of transfer over and put all of my main focus and everything that I have into this, into helping people and stuff.
Yeah. I've had to kind of transition. I took a week transitioning between companies and projects. And
Yeah, how do you like the new job?
so I got going this week there. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good place to grow.
So all of the stress and like the worry. So you went from that job, it wasn't really working out, and you wanted to make that change. You made the change. You left. Um, how does it feel now? Now that you actually are, like, you made the big step to do the change.
Yeah. I
Is
was
is
still,
it really that big of a deal? Like, once you get into it?
normally I'm extremely confident when I'm making moves.
Yeah.
And this time I did feel some apprehension, anxiously anticipating the start, just to see what it was going to look like and feel like getting in there.
What? Yeah. So that change, like, um, I kind of noticed that too. When I was making all of the changes to finish up with what we're doing, we got, I think, 2.5 days there, and
Mhm.
then, by the way, I'm not answering my phone for
Yeah.
any of them after that, and they can fuck off.
Yeah.
But the change between that and this has been super scary.
Hmm.
Uh, but I've noticed something about, looking back on change. It's like you sit there and you ponder, and you worry and get anxious about every little last thing about that piece of change.
Hmm.
And then once you actually just, like, foot to the floor, make that decision, a day later, a week later, like, it's just it's a new normal kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the mindset thing that you were kind of talking about with your shift there and what you need to do. For me, it's kind of the opposite. So I've always done creative work aside my normal, um, career work. And so I've always maintained a job to pay the bills, be able to take care of the kids, all that. But I've always done, you know, artwork on the
Yeah.
side. So I've always been able to pursue a creative side, of myself. And um, in the past couple of years, I wanted to really focus on growing in my career and being able to provide more. And so that's been the focus. And I haven't done as much creative work. And so part of, I think, the apprehension that I was feeling was knowing that regardless of where I'm going to be at, um, even going into a what seems to be on paper, we talked about it, like on paper, it seems to really be the way to go. There's not really a negative side to moving forward in that direction, but there was still a part of me that felt off about, signing on to just
Another 2
another
years of
thing
like, yeah.
that's gonna take my focus in a direction that I I am talented in and good at and feel good about. I do like that type of job, um, and that role
Yeah.
that I have in being a leader, but I want to do it creatively. I want to be able to talk to people about what's really going on in their life and what's deeper
Yeah.
and help people in that way, which I've still had that type of effect in that role, I think, which is why I've developed good
Yeah,
relationships
you
with the
get
guys that I
close with the
work with.
trades for
Yeah.
sure.
And so I think, I can help people regardless, but I, I very much also want to be able to move in that direction of being able to kind of maybe put that stuff aside and really jump into this and be fully absorbed in this. And it was fun doing the mural, painting the mural, and doing some of the artwork for the designs. And I still get to have
Yeah.
some creative expression in
Yeah.
this, but I'd love to do it, full time. So
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with it. I'm super excited to just be able to get back into just there's always, owning this and running this together. There's always going to be the monotonous shit. It just
mhm.
is. But I'm excited to get into, talking to artists who have been through, mental health crises and getting them up and running on making designs and us as well. My mind's filled. I've got notebooks filled with t-shirt ideas and
Yeah,
hat ideas and
yeah,
designs in general, and you know, filled with stuff for blogs. And we're going to continuously try and pump out as much content and um, hopefully, I mean, the goal is to help anybody out of
yeah,
it. It's all positive stuff, and we have to talk about the negative with the positive. So yeah, I'm super pumped to do that. And when you're talking about um, being being able to communicate and get on a deeper level, even with the job that you have, it's funny how much in the trades people like the guys around the site open up
oh yeah,
because you see them
oh yeah,
pissed off
yeah,
90%. It doesn't matter
hmm
if they're easygoing people, like eventually they get pissed off. So you see them in like 7 different emotions
hmm
that day.
oh yeah,
And then, the easiest thing that the guys do is they just vent to the next guy. There's a lot of mental health struggle and addictions and substance abuse problems in the trades. I mean, it's huge.
you're around those guys all day, every day, and um, that's kind of their therapy at times. I think is
Yeah.
that's their place to vent. That's their friends. Most of the time you're working so much. I think a lot of guys that are out there are working hard to try and provide, for themselves or their families, and um, so it's kind of a common struggle that everybody's trying to be able to do more and be more, and everybody feels the same kind of stress.
And then every single one of them have jobs where their supervisors or their owners don't give a shit about the job site that they're on, or at least that's what comes across.
Yeah.
And so everybody is kind of in the same place. It's
Everybody's getting pushed,
yeah.
more output,
Yep.
more output,
More output, more
and that,
out. Yeah.
that's generally at work, and you feel that at home.
Yeah.
So, um,
I mean, I know me, man. When we talk about how hard it is for somebody in the trades to, kind of push to better themselves. Like it takes I mean, those kind of people who do are, the kind of people who start off in the trades and then work up and own their own business and become successful. I mean, it takes so much to be able to do that. You're working full time. You have to work full time to learn how, or work full time to pay for your own shit, basically, the like all of your tools, everything. To then go and line up a couple side jobs, and you're working 7 days a week doing that, and then eventually, pushing over and doing the same thing that their owners are doing.
Hmm.
It takes a lot of effort. I know when I did it, I mean, even like when I was doing all of it and going to the gym, and I mean, it was exhausting. I mean, you're running yourself dry.
Oh
There
yeah.
is no contrary to what people believe, especially when you're talking about influencers and stuff. Like there is no norm, it's not normal to be able to wake up and read a book and go get in your ice bath and go sit in your sauna and then have an hour of meditation and be able to go to the gym. And like people live lives that they are they're providing for their families, and they push nonstop. They're up until midnight taking care of the kids. They have to wake back up at 5 a.m. and go right back into it, and so that the lifestyle that gets spread for or like by influencers is insane.
Yeah, I think that uh, you know, you're able to find a rhythm where you can maintain, and it does get overwhelming. There are times when just that cycle, that daily and weekly cycle, I think can become super stressful. So it's important to have friends, and people you can talk to at the job and on the job site, um, because sometimes that's the only outlet for people. Um, I think there's also an element of, like, for myself, going through those cycles where um, it kind of goes into the whole trying to deepen your understanding of yourself and trying to grow. Um, I understood that the only way to try and make it different was to put in something extra.
Yeah.
I was really angry and resentful at the world for putting in so much effort and feeling like I was getting such little return
Yeah.
on that effort. And so I just realized that nobody was going to do it for me. I wasn't going to just be picked out of some
Yeah.
crowd or job as, this person that just deserves
Yeah.
something extra. So I had to start trying to educate myself, about myself in order
Yeah.
to figure out how to drive myself to take on more responsibility or more accountability in my life in order to try and make it different.
Yeah, the mindset of, you know, it's not a mindset of like woe is me, but it's a mindset of like I'm doing everything. Why am I not getting something? And it's just it's a succubus of like you have to continue to work hard all the way through, even when you are, even when you're expecting something out of it. You have to work. I mean, you have to show the universe or God or whoever you want to talk to about it. You have to show that you're willing to go past what you think that you deserve. Like you're willing to keep pushing beyond those boundaries, and eventually it will come. And it sounds silly because if you're in the middle of trying to push and nothing's coming, and you feel like you're at your wits end, and you decide that like you're giving it your all, you still have to work harder. And
Yeah.
it's the most like like that's the realest part about it.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, from what's worked with me, like I, even with this, like with bad and running all of this, I've pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to even get it here, and I still feel like I should be further along, but I remind myself every day that like eventually I'll look up and be like, "Oh, sweet, I made it to that point. Now on to the next one."
Yeah. I mean, I think it takes a longer amount of time and effort. to put in true um, effort and consistency towards something that you really want, and it, like you said, I think it's easy to feel like you're at your wit's end with it. But I try to remind myself every day that I'm showing up to the day with the ability to get through that day.
Mm-hmm.
I have all the tools from my whole life and yesterday that got me through yesterday. I can at least make it through today, um, and try and make good choices that align with the future that I want. And I think that over time you start to reap slowly a different understanding of yourself, and therefore like the benefits of that journey in the process. And I think with the right amount of effort and energy, you do find outlets that will give you peace of mind with that struggle, whether it's like feeling better about yourself physically if you're putting in time at the gym, or rewarding being rewarded at work, or growing, through work or a career, different opportunities.
So what do you for okay, so what do you think about the people who feel like they're stuck? Who like are day in, day out. Not just trades, but everybody, right? I mean everybody has the working class. We like they're they feel like they have no more time, right? Um their days are packed full of family life, work life, sleep.
Yeah.
It's boom, 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 and there is no time to take care of yourself.
I mean, so I can only offer my personal experience of what I know,
Yeah.
and, what I've read about. And um, I think the first thing that I had to consider for myself was how well I was taking care of myself. Um, that's something that I have to think about daily to make sure that I'm in the right place mentally and physically to be able to take on whatever is going to get thrown my way. Um, it's hard when you're not eating right and not exercising, to sleep well, you
Yeah.
know? So,
I'm going to be a devil's advocate through this.
mm,
So, I'm not eating right because I don't have the time
mm,
to meal prep. I don't have the money to meal prep,
mm,
you know.
yeah. I mean, so for myself, I think I have all of the excuses that I need to
Mhm.
not pursue the things that I know are good for me. And ultimately, it comes down to how bad do you want the change? Um, how miserable are you in the state that you're in? And if you're really miserable, if you really think that you're doing everything you can and you're not getting back what you're putting out, I think that you're probably fooling yourself to some degree.
100%.
And I think it takes real accountability and honesty with yourself to be able to see yourself for where you're at and what you're really putting into it. Um, None of this stuff works right for your body, mentally or physically, if you're not disciplined in some level to putting it, into the focus and making it a priority. And it's, I think, the key to getting, feeling better or being in the place that you want to be is the result of doing the thing that you don't want to do, that you're avoiding.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned journaling earlier. I think that that's a great place if you're not feeling like you can get yourself to the gym or get down to do the push up, or anything like that. Sometimes it really does help to see your thoughts on paper and to
Like,
be able to see them over and over and evaluate them and see how,
I
you
think
know,
I think it makes them real, right?
it makes it real.
Like if you have all of this mess going on in your head,
Hmm.
right? And you have the excuses of, well, I have no time to meal prep. I can't afford good food. I have no time to go to the gym. I have no more time in the day. Well, you could spend a little less time, watching TV. You could spend a little less time doing the negative distractions
Hmm.
that are hurting you. But I think one of the biggest things that helped me when I first started through talk therapy was starting to journal.
Yeah, me
And
too. Me
yeah,
too.
and I think and I didn't, of course, writing things down, you would think like that would help you, but you avoid it so much because you take the mess, all of the like realities that you create for yourself, any of the worry, the anxiety, all of these scenarios that you make if you have to have an important conversation with somebody, I'm somebody who like I literally have this scenario in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna say this, and then
Oh yeah.
they're gonna say this, and then all of a sudden I'm at the end of the conversation before I even had it,
Yep.
and then I postpone that because I'm procrastinating for fear of whatever could happen. I've now left myself a month of worrying about a conversation I haven't even said one word, and then when I actually the reality is when you have that conversation and you say initially what you want to say, it normally goes very well. Like you normally don't have to do that, you know?
Yeah,
And so
I think we worry about things
yeah.
much more than we need to. We don't know what's actually going to happen, and we fear a lot of scenarios that aren't,
Well,
based in a complete truth. I think.
yeah, and I think we all live with a lot of fear
Mm.
nowadays. We all live with a lot of fear of like being accepted. I mean I know I do. You know, I still do, even though I know that it's not okay to do that. I'm still working my brain out of that place. You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I think journaling gives you the ability to see where your focus is,
Mm-hmm.
and where you're putting in effort and energy, and where you're not. The more you do it, you kind of see the consistencies in, where your thoughts are, and that's where you have to start. Whether it's on paper or not.
Yeah.
It's easier on paper when you get into the rhythm of doing that for yourself. You can go back and see
Yep.
your routine and pattern of thought and focus and priority. And I think that, just like you, for me, the talk therapy and journaling probably helped me see where I was putting all of my energy
It,
and just repeatedly dumping it into that. And it was like, wait, okay, I've already gone through this worst case scenario before. I've already gone through this hardship that I feel like I'm avoiding or worried about. Like I'm
mhm.
working through it in real time, seeing it, and um,
Well, like I said, or like you're saying, like it makes it real enough to where you can actually look at, you can backtrack and go back into the past and see how much of the things that you were worried about when you were writing things down or how much of the mess doesn't actually exist. And then you can go, okay, well, I guess I do have time like you can make the decision like, oh, I do have 5 minutes out of
yeah,
the day to
yeah,
journal. Oh, I do have 5 minutes out of the day to read 2 pages of a book or 5 pages of a book or whatever.
yeah. Well, I think the journaling helps you see where you're at and get honest with yourself, and gives you a place to start. And I think you have to build some sort of idea of where it is you want to go and have that vision as well. Journaling can help you do that. Um, and I think if you have those two things, the accountability of where you're at and honesty, and then can see the future version of yourself that you want to be, um, that future version takes a certain amount of uh, discipline and effort to create. That person probably does things. The version of you 5 years from now probably has a different routine. And I think sometimes if you can emulate what it is you're going for, the lifestyle of that person, um, the version of me, for example, feeling like you don't have the time, energy, effort, all of that to be able to go to the sauna and work out, and,
Hmm.
do all the things you listed before. Um, if your goal is to live life in a certain way and you think that that version of you should live that way, then how does that version actually fit those tasks into their day? Where did they get, whether it's financially or career wise, whatever it is, how did they create that? Um, and you kind of have to fool yourself a little bit
Yeah.
and pretend, and you do the effort that it
It,
would take.
yes.
Figure out if it means getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be able to meditate and read and
Hmm.
do the sauna and work out. Then I almost guarantee that if you started doing that, upheld that for 6 months or a year, you'd probably be living a much different lifestyle a year from now, and it would be
You
a
wouldn't be
lot,
the same person.
yeah, it'd be a lot closer to that version that you want to see.
Yeah.
So it's a duality of, um,
Well, you fake like you
you
said,
know,
you're fooling yourself, but you're
yeah,
faking. If you want to become a different person, right? Like we all have that inner monologue of I'm not being who I can be. I'm not. Well, there's a person that you are today, and there's a person that you are tomorrow.
hmm
It takes one simple action
hmm
to change that.
yeah, it's literally just being that version
You
that you
just
want to
have
be.
to act like act like the person that you want to be,
Yeah.
and and with
It,
that
if
comes
if the better version of myself that I want to become is somebody that's working out and eating right and taking care of themselves, if I make those choices tomorrow, I am that person.
exactly.
It's not some crazy, you know, drawn out long process if you don't want it to be. The process of being that person literally takes as much
The 20
understanding and effort and willingness as you're willing to put in. If you do all those things, you are that person
It's a
tomorrow.
24-hour cycle.
Yeah.
Everybody has it, and you
Yeah.
can change any second out
Yeah.
of that day
Yeah.
to be a completely different person.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where, you hear the quotes about, um, live each day like it's its own lifetime, or
Yeah.
any of that kind of generalized
Yeah,
statement
the
about life.
cliche,
I think that's where it comes from,
Yeah.
is if you are intentional and deliberate in the choices that you make each day and the thoughts that you have, you can be a different version of yourself the next day.
Yeah.
And I think it just is a matter of creating discipline and routine to stay on track with that, and not be discouraged by the circumstances.
Yeah,
So,
and when we're talking about, creating discipline and creating routine, like that's it sounds, you know, it sounds like such a big change, but when we say that, it's just like all you have to do is change one thing. It's the same thing that we have going with the bad operation. Like it's not just like some, workout program where like it's it's designed literally for you to just take one small step. And I don't even care. Like I really deep down, I don't care if you don't do the whole bad operation. It doesn't matter. Like it's a challenge, right?
mhm.
But if you can take anything away from it, y- I hope people take away that it takes one simple day of something positive, um, to change something positive in your routine to change your life. That's it.
Yeah.
Like it can rip you out of the darkest spots in life if you just choose to do one small positive thing. The positive always outweighs the negative. It doesn't. The negative is just louder.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, I like it because it's a full spectrum of opportunity. Like, uh, the bad operation can be as simple as doing one task and it being just enough to get you going and just enough to get you out of bed. But if you choose to adopt a whole, lifestyle,
yeah,
it's a whole lot of things that are going to better yourself and your lifestyle and quality of life. And, so you can make it whatever you want it to be.
you know what's funny too is when I decided like what the tasks were gonna be, I was changing it based off of what helps me with a routine. So there's probably things in there that people wouldn't like to do.
hmm
But for again, I mean, the reason that this company exists, the reason that, I'm going to be doing the bigger things, it's all selfish for me first. I wanted to help myself first, and then I take it and go, hey, how can I help somebody else?
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, we're not, we're not experts on
no, not,
anything
no,
other
disclaimer.
than our own lives and what we've
Yeah, right.
experienced. And, um,
Please see a doctor.
yeah, I mean, I think that that's okay. I think that it's okay that, we're just trying to be able to take good care of ourselves and then share that with people, you know.
Yeah. I kind of got rid of that. Like, at first when I was doing all of this, um, obviously I had doubts, but I felt weird because I'm like, well, you're kind of doing all of this shit for yourself, but uh, it's always that put your mask on first. Like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I live my life. I don't. I fight myself on it because I like to take care of other people too much.
Yeah. I mean, this all, in reality, this all comes from the conversations that I've had with friends and people that I care about, right? Like we have we have a similar type of mentality where, we're trying to do better in life and want to take better care of ourselves. And we have friends that, and personally, we've each struggled in our own ways,
I'm still
with mental
struggling.
health and are
Yeah,
working through things, different types of adversity in life that's life is thrown at us. And also, we've created because we're all participants in a lot of what's going on for us. So I think that um, there's a pursuit to live a better life for everyone. And if you're around the right people and making the right choices and you're intentional with it, and you can turn it into whatever you want. I don't think it's selfish to be able to try to help your friends who are struggling, and I think that was where this all came from, was being able to keep people from those darkest spots, or to at least let them know that there's people here who have gone through it too,
yeah.
and that that's part of the process. Part of that growth is being in those spots and knowing that you do have the tools to navigate it. Um,
Yeah, and that's really what I want. I want, like, talking to people who we're gonna have on, talking between each other. I want to learn more tools. I want to talk with people who found a tool to get out of the darkness through art, or through, physical exercise, or, through reading certain books. Like, the whole goal is for me to hear this, and then I get to be the one to help, or we get to be the one
mhm.
to help more people through it,
Oh, yeah,
whether it's through the blogs on the website, whether it's through book recommendations. Like, if one item, if you can change one thing every day to help yourself, if we can find one item to help one random person who listens to this, if anybody listens to this, like,
yeah,
if we can help one person each day, or one person each month, or whatever, like, you're still, again, it's always that one step forward into positivity. Um, and one more, not life saved, I'm not going to claim to save lives here by any means, but I don't want people to think that they're alone in that darkness.
yeah,
Like, that darkness took me, and I'll get into it, at some point in other episodes, but it took me into the scariest places I've ever been.
absolutely.
And if you can't go, if you're there and you can't find the flashlight to get out, it's it's there. You just have to keep reaching, keep looking around, keep searching for things that can help you. And sometimes it's as easy as picking up a notebook and writing in it. That small thing could, like, push you to being a very happy, successful person.
Yeah, I think when you're in a dark place, you're you're given a very deep perspective on life. You know, I know when you're in a dark place, you're analyzing life and your existence to some degree and why things are the way that they are, and it's very easy to become hopeless when you're stuck in that type of thought pattern. And like you said, if we can help anybody um, look to something that makes them feel good about themselves or gives them a tool or opportunity to do something a little different. Um, I think a lot of getting out of that spot for myself was being just intentional about doing anything that would make it different, and trying to make sure that it was a positive thing. And, so if we can help people do that, then that's ultimately, I think, something that makes me feel really good about myself, my existence here, in this place. And hopefully, it does have an effect that, can be measured to some level. Hopefully there are people that can tell us down the road how they've been able to benefit and maybe help their friends or family also. Everybody, I think, has people that love and care about them, um, even when they don't necessarily see it. So, you know, taking initiative and being mindful and intentional, um, is more than just helping yourself in a lot of situations. So,
Yeah. And it's scary to make any kind of first step.
mhm,
I'm trying to think of the quote. It's like my little version of a Calvin and Hobbes quote where it's like
mhm,
there there's nothing like tomorrow. It's almost as good as today or right now. So the reason that I say that is because like y- there's a lot of people who go, oh well, I can just make the change tomorrow, or I'll make it tomorrow when I'm feeling better, or I'll do this or I'll do that, and I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow when right now is the best time for you to do anything. It's have you ever heard the pick up the cup analogy, like I guess analogy or whatever it is?
I don't know.
No. Okay. So I'm gonna botch this as I'm going to, or as I will with a lot of other things. But from what I remember, it's like you get in your truck, right? Or your car or whatever, and you're on your way to work and you drink your coffee on the way to work, and you in your tumbler or whatever, and you set it down on the passenger floor, right? When you get home the next day, or when you get home, I hope you're not working all day and night. But when you get home later on that night, you turn and you look over and you see the cup and you go, oh, okay, I'll just grab it tomorrow. And you go inside and you do the same thing again. And say you bring in the next cup, but you look down, you're like, oh, I need to grab the cup. When it's as simple as walking around, right? You allow yourself to continuously have these micro thoughts of doing things. Um, and you keep pushing them off. You keep pushing them till tomorrow. And we do that all the time. Like I do it so much that if I'm putting bread back and I don't wrap it up the right way, I sound OCD. And I don't wrap it up the right way, or if I like I don't even know, dude. Like when you're on the way to the trash can, right? And something falls, y- like if you don't just immediately get down and pick it up, you have micro thoughts, and like you'll walk back in the kitchen or something and see that you didn't pick up a little piece of the wrapper, and it might sit there for fucking 4 days before you go and reach down by the trash can and pick up the little wrapper that you dropped when you were trying to put it in the trash can. It's like all of these micro thoughts add up, and it's like taking care of things right now when they first pop up. Does any of this make sense?
It's starting to now that you're
Okay.
getting back to the point.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Taking care of things when they come up,
Mhm.
it like that compounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it compounds into like immediate action.
Yeah. It benefits you in multiple ways to just take the actions that would benefit you now or that you know are right, as large or as small as they are.
Yeah.
It builds self-trust. Self-trust builds self-love. Um, it builds discipline, consistency,
It
and taking care of what you can now gives you the openness and readiness to handle the things in the next moment or the next
Mhm.
day that need to be handled. The next wrapper that's on the floor that needs
Yeah.
to be picked up, or the next cup that needs to be picked up, instead of compounding things and
It's it,
snowballing
it's
things.
like compounding complacency
Hmm.
when you're doing things, because it it shows everywhere else too.
Hmm.
Like you catch yourself being lazy, and if you can catch yourself being lazy, and you can just go, okay, well, I'm not going to be lazy at this one moment. I'm not going to be complacent at this one moment.
Yeah, I mean, I
Then
think.
it compounds and it ruins complacency. It gets
Mhm.
it completely out your door. So and people can actually look up what the actual like story behind that is, but um I say to myself all the time, like I'll catch myself being lazy all the time, and all I do is just say pick up the cup.
Yeah,
It's something very simple that you can say to yourself to remind yourself, hey, you're being complacent, you're being lazy in this moment. Just pick up this cup. And I started doing this, a year ago, and I'm not great at it still, but I do find myself like it almost compounds in like a bunch of several, like I caught myself the other day being lazy doing multiple tasks, and instead I just worked through it, and each task that popped up I just went, well, just pick up the cup on this one, pick up the cup on this one, And then the next thing you know, all of my tasks were completely done. Um, and I didn't have any like lazy moments in there because I started with the pick up the cup thought
Mhm.
and I ended with it. So everything during that day I knocked out and I felt great. I felt, super accomplished that day.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at people in general, I think the most happy and successful people probably um, are taking care of the little tasks that need to be taken care of, just like the big ones, and handling them when they come. Um, like you said, they compound. So I think when you're letting little things go, it's a ripple effect, and then you run into bigger things not going right or not being in a position to handle things the way that you need to or could because there's too much to do, or it feels too overwhelming. Um, so I think that's where like the operation is helpful. It's doing the things that we all could agree on are a good thing for you,
Yeah.
and doing all of those little things, again, it builds self trust and self love, and getting into a rhythm and a habit of intentional items that create self love and self trust make it easier to amplify in other areas of your life. It creates self efficacy where you know that you're being effective in your life and in a positive way. That's self confidence and self esteem. And it ripples into every other area of your life when you're actually being consistent for yourself.
Yeah. And it's funny because, the word self is in front of all of it.
Hmm.
Like like it's not a selfish act, but it's beneficial for everybody around you
Yeah.
and everybody if you take care of yourself.
Well, nobody can do it for you.
No. And you might think, "Oh, hey, I can save this person and I can do this for this person." But I promise you if you can't take care of yourself, like you're never going to be able to help out anybody else the way that you think that you can.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'm super excited to see where the bad operation like runs itself. I'm super excited to see everybody trying to take one step. I'm excited to see people like the skill building aspect of it.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see what people have wanted to try their entire lives. Like that's the skill building part is, I brought it
Yeah.
up last time. I just wanted to learn to play guitar. We haven't added any of those tasks yet. Yeah, I think we're on I think today's day 30, which is cool. I didn't realize that. So we're 30 days in then, and but I'm excited to see what people have wanted to, try to focus on,
Yeah. I
whether
mean,
it's their art, whether it's,
yeah, learning new things is important
mhm.
for a lot of different reasons. So I think, it's a good thing to be able to challenge yourself. Learning is a great thing.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it as well. I love learning new things and participating in new experiences. So, you know,
What are you what are your thoughts on launching and stuff? I mean, this episode's going to come out after we launch. This might be our first one. It might be our second. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm super excited to do it. It's like I said, it's fucking scary for me to like throw all of my eggs in one basket, but good things help or good things bring in good people.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's kind of like feels like an out of body
mhm.
experience a little bit
You
where,
getting too high, dude?
no, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I feel like I have a lot of transitions happening in my life and I have a lot of change happening. And uh, it feels like there are different chapters that are closing and starting. And so there's so much going on that I feel myself being very observant to how I'm going through everything and how I'm taking those things in so that I'm not reacting to life in a negative way. Um, and so it just feels like I'm ready for things to start moving
Yeah.
because things feel like they've been up in the air and kind of stagnant. It's given me an opportunity to try and focus in on um, those elements of myself that I may have not been paying attention to while I've been on the grind for the last couple of years. So waiting, an extra couple of weeks or whatever it was to launch, as well
Months.
as making some transitions with the career have just given me an opportunity to take a look at where I'm at, um, where I'd like to go and take things, and kind of reminds me to just keep moving forward. Um, the stagnation that I feel is part of the process as well.
Yeah, you almost feel like it's
Not
important to feel stuck sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, not.
Because you have to figure out what to do when you're waiting.
Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff, whether it's doing the operation and doing one task or 50, or trying to get a business started or starting a new job, all of that stuff doesn't feel great every day.
No.
Even though you're taking care of yourself, or even though
No. Yeah.
that it's all going to pay off, kind of thing.
I mean, especially when we were waiting for like equipment here, because we're everything here is made to order, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
But when we were waiting for equipment and we were waiting to figure out like how do we make a t-shirt that's gonna last for people, how do we make a good quality product, how do we do this, and like you find out that every step that you took the first time is the wrong step, and you got to take 15 steps back, wait for the new equipment to come, take the like have a whole new learning curve on. I mean, so much more research.
It's patience.
Yeah,
right.
It really did. It taught
a matter
a lot
of patience and faith and focus and drive, consistency.
Yeah.
It's maintaining all of the right things, or trying to maintain and uphold the things that are right, despite it not feeling great all the time.
Yeah.
I know none of the things that I want to see happen can happen in one moment. So it's just a matter of being present, not being too far in the future and worrying about how it's all going to shake out or what it's going to look like. It's more so just showing up to each day, and doing the next right thing in each moment. And I'm getting, participating in the operation myself and trying to build up that consistency and discipline, because I know if at a minimum, if I have all of these things that are up in the air that I'm unsure about or worried about or stressed about, I can do certain things each day that I know are going to benefit me, even if I'm not getting the results I want immediately in the rest of life. And sometimes that's where you got to be to have a baseline, and so the goal for me is to try and establish a really solid baseline that I fall into every day, because at a minimum, if I'm doing all of those tasks that are on that, sheet, then I know that I'm living a mentally and physically adequate life, at a minimum.
Yeah. I mean, you can't build a building without, a solid foundation.
Mhm.
It's a silly cliche,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, it really is like you have to have some kind of decent routine in there in order to successfully build on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you didn't know, we're talking about the B.A.D operation. Head on to the website.
Yeah. See
where you'll find the what it is and how to page. You'll also be able to download a PDF.
Yeah,
for free.
For anybody that doesn't know, we took there's a video on the how to, and I actually just uploaded it before. We have a 2-minute video explaining how to do everything, hopefully the best way possible. And it came out of like an hour and 40 minutes of trying to figuring it out as we went through. And it was actually
winging a how-to instructional video. Yeah, it was definitely
it was a lot of fun. We had like a base of like what we wanted to say, but when you are sitting there, it's I think
I mean, trying to formulate things in a concise way that also makes sense.
Yeah.
Without a script. Yeah. Definitely, because as a process.
To me, like the funniest thing is, to me, I see the B.A.D operation and I'm like, oh, well, this is fucking simple. You just add something every day. Just add something and do what you were doing the day before. That's it. Just, continue.
And you can explain it that way.
And you can, but for whatever reason, when you start getting into it, people have questions, and it's almost like I have to answer the questions with, no, just add something every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Just add the next thing every day.
I think that's the thing.
People try to make it a little bit more. It's almost like people try to make it a little bit more complicated so they can go, it doesn't make sense. I don't want to do it.
I mean, I'm sure there's an element of that.
Yeah,
I know it's definitely a simple enough program that I think life is complex. So
Yeah.
people just assume that there's got to be a lot to it. It
Yeah.
does when you look at the sheet, it
Ye-
looks like there's a lot going
Yeah,
on.
it
And
does.
so I think that's the most overwhelming part of the whole operation, right? Is that task sheet. The task sheet itself makes
Yeah.
it look like there's so much to do. But then when you really get into it and you break it down and you see that it's just adding a push up or a
Yeah.
sit up or
And
drinking
maybe
water.
maybe eventually we'll get an app, you
Yeah,
know,
that's a good idea.
I think. But we have to get it off somehow. So
Yeah, I think once you get rolling with it, it definitely becomes very simple.
yeah.
It's just a matter of taking the
Yeah,
time
and
to
you
look
know,
it over.
me and Cass do it together. And so I've never tried it alone, and I hope it works the same way. I do like if you can make it a team thing, if you can, bring it into your workplace or bring it into your household
Yeah,
with
I
your
mean, the more
kids,
people that are
and like
being intentional about the way that they're living is going to be beneficial to everybody.
yeah, and make it a challenge between everybody.
Mhm.
I don't, and it's not even that. Like, go do 75 hard with everybody. Go
Yeah,
do any kind of workout program with anybody. Create a community around you of good people, and or create a solid like family foundation
mhm.
and do things like that together.
Yeah, the whole point is to feel better.
Yeah, I just like I want the bad operation um to be something that creates a community, but it doesn't break my heart if people don't do that. I
Right.
would like people to go in and try it out. Of course, like
Mhm.
we came up with it. It's part of our, company, but I want people to just find a good community of um I want people to find a good community to better themselves and better their physical health, their
Yeah.
mental health.
A positive
Yeah.
system
And to
support
teach
system.
people tools that that can just better them in the future.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely.